Here, I'm gonna get on Twitter real quick and share this. What's up, man?
What is good? What is going on, everybody? This is your man, Pat Bernard. Also, we are talking the Union, and for the first time in a long time, your Philadelphia Union. But before we get in any Union chat, before we do any of that, we have a birthday celebration here on the show. And our man Diego's birthday. Diego, happy birthday to you, sir.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm getting old now.
yeah, the flip side of 30 is coming. Trust me, I've been a veteran of that for quite some time. But
Yeah,
listen, first of all, like I said, happy birthday. I hope you had a great day. What you were saying before we went live, you had a great day with the missus. I'm glad she took care of you. That's all fun stuff. I'm glad she took you out for a good brunch. Kudos to the missus for doing all that.
yeah. Thanks
And
to
soon,
her.
yeah, and soon to be Mrs. Bianchi.
Yeah,
So that's an ops plus, and another bit of tad bit news for the people out there watching the program. This is the first time in 3 years that I get to do a show with Diego for a little bit. So this is unique to me. I've worked with Euro Paul, I've worked with Joe, obviously I've worked with everyone on the EOP and the Devro Sports roster, but this is the first time I get to work with Diego. So this is going to be an honor for me because now I'm working with a beat reporter. And if
yeah.
guys, so if you
You
guys are
too.
ever,
You too. You're
yeah,
a
yeah,
beat
yes,
reporter
yes,
too, so we're
yes,
working together.
yes, yeah. So one does the wings, one does the union, and if you guys ever get to see Diego's work, it's on Twitter. It's on. If you go to edgeofphillysports.com, you can read all of his great work, all of his articles. They're always posted on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're more comfortable with, what social media platform that you're more comfortable with between those two. You can read his stuff all over the place. You see, he's gaining traction like nobody else's business. So, but anyway, listen. We were expecting a win for your Philadelphia Union at home. Turns out they lost again. The Union didn't have their full A team, if you will. Obviously, no Andre Blake between the pipes. But here they fall 3-2 to a winless Orlando SC team, who's only averaging one goal a game. And now the big question starts to pile up in my brain. Uh, is this team, I want to say, but are the Union taking opponents lightly, if you will, because it seems to me, the games they should be winning, they're losing all of a sudden. So, again, walk me through Saturday what you saw.
All right. Well, what I saw is a team that was desperately in need of Daniel Gazdag and Jose Martinez. I feel like Jose Martinez is so big in the back, you don't realize how much he covers back there until he was missing. As you see in the first 10 minutes
Hmm.
of that game, they had 2 goals. They penetrated our back line so easily, and I feel like that was a big reason why for with Jose not being there and being with Venezuela on international duty. So we do get him back this week. That's important. But I feel like all right. I feel like people are seeing this game that they didn't play well. They got 19 shots on goal. You know what I mean? The Union all year they've created 76 shots, which is tied for second in the
Hmm.
MLS. You know what I mean? So it's not as I don't think it's as bad as it looks. They're sixth in the league. They're sixth in the league in goals scored. You know what I mean? With 8. So that looks pretty good. I just think everyone's looking at the record right now and going, oh, are we in trouble? I don't think the Union's in trouble. I think they'll find their leggings and then they'll start ripping some wins off here. They just gotta put it all together. It's there. They just gotta put it all together.
Right.
So
I totally agree with you. I mean, like you said, on paper, does it look bad? Yes, because again, you lost to a winless Orlando SC team. I get all that. However, like you said, when you're missing big pieces of your backfield and your defense, and still able to give a bad team a run for its money, you still were able to make moves. And like I said, you need that in the backfield. Now, listen, they're going to be at home again, a back-to-back home game. I expect a bit better of a fight, but I don't want to get into that Kansas City game as of yet. But I mean, because there's a lot of reflection, and if anybody got the chance to hear Diego, it did get to ask Jim Curtin what's the benefit in this win here, and he said there's still a lot to take away from. and he was
Well, like
giving.
you said, like you said, there's you got a lot of guys that got time that don't get time, which that's important for all these other competitions that are coming up, like the Leagues Cup and stuff like that. You're going to need guys that don't play every day, and it's nice to get them some time during the
Yeah.
regular season if you can. So you got to take some positives away, like you said when I asked them.
Mhm.
You take positives away like that. And did they play a great game? No, but that doesn't mean they didn't get experience from the time they got on the field. So there's some positives to take away from this game, I believe.
Yo, absolutely. Look, and here goes your man Anthony Stats checking in. He goes, "Great job, Diego. You're my boy."
Yeah, that's my
Uh,
boy.
so like you said, there is a lot to take away. Like you said, a lot of their bench players got to see a lot of playing time, and like I said, on paper for your casual fan that doesn't know much, like, oh, how can this? This is our champions, your Eastern champions, and they're getting rocked by a bottom feeder team. Like you said, look, it was a bench game, and that's what it turned out to be. And a lot of your guys, like you said, you're missing key pieces, and you started, you gave a fight, which you, like I said, were you expecting to win? Probably so. But in the back of your mind, look, you don't have your starting goaltender there. You don't have your starting defenseman there, and you suffered. And unfortunately, it happens in every sport. You go through, your bumps in the road, and that was one of them. So, and here goes our man Dave Yarnold checking into. He goes, "Hey, Union family, how's everyone doing tonight?" Dave, everyone's doing superb. It's Diego's birthday. You should know this. No.
What's
Uh,
going on, Dave? How you doing, man? Thanks for checking out the show.
so you look into it, you look into all the X's and O's, if you will, and like I said, that the bench guys still finding ways to find the back of the net. However, it was just not in time. And look, that was a layup punch for Orlando. Okay, do you expect them to go anywhere in the season? Probably not. They're going to have their struggles. And that's, like I said, that was one of the things I worried about this season was and then, like I said, I had a feeling that everyone looks at the Union though as a target, as a number one target.
Well, when you win the
I'll
Eastern
be
Conference or
right
West,
back.
thanks, Ed. When you win the Eastern Conference or in any league, you're going to have a target on your back. So the Union are going to have a target on their back all season. I just think it's a matter of them getting everything together offensively and defensively. They've been pretty good when they have their whole lineup been a little bit sloppy, but I think they'll get better as time goes on, as the season goes on, and they get more informed. But yeah, I was definitely impressed by some of the young guys like Chris Donovan, who, yeah, I know he isn't finishing, but he's definitely making good runs. He's definitely pretty fast. So if he can start to build off that, also with a little bit of playing time he can get, he could become a factor as we go on in the season. So yeah. Um,
Sorry about that, everyone. I had to step away for a quick second. Kind of emergency. Going to get Diego back on the show here. We had a little bit of a difficulty here. There you
I
are.
got kicked off. My bad.
No, I had a little bit of little bit of emergency. So here we go, real fast. Your man Anthony Stats checking these says happy birthday, bro. Our man Dave Yarnell says happy birthday. So let's get, like I said, let's get back into this game here. Again, like you were just alluding to, problems on both sides of the ball. Like I said, it was a bench game. So like I said, a lot of people looking in as this to be like, oh no, like the sky is falling for this team, and it's not. Again, look, for a team that hasn't lost at home, and it's been a long time since this team lost had an L at home, and they, like I said, they're going to turn around this weekend. And trust me, Jim Curtin's going to look at the tape. He understands what he has to do. A lot of teams are going to be targeting the Union as the Eastern champions. We knew this coming into it. For, like I said, like I mentioned this to Gus, I mentioned this to Austin. They're going to be the measuring stick for a lot of teams. If a lot of teams feel like they could beat the Philadelphia Union, they feel like they can compete with anybody. So, and that's what like I said, you're going to have to expect everyone's A game coming at you, especially in South, at Subaru Park. So you're going to have to expect that from Kansas City coming up this weekend. So, like I said, a lot to take away. Like you said, your bench played well. For what it was worth, your bench played well. You missed
Yeah,
a lot of pieces. You missed a lot of offensive firepower. You missed a lot of defensive power, and still the team put up 2 goals. That was very unlikely. You always put up a poll on Twitter. How many goals is this team going to get? I put up at least two is like the average for the team. If this team goes more than that, I think it's a good day at the office. So Diego, and here goes a one for you too. So where does it? Like I said, there has been though. Um, Jim Curran's questionable, decisions. Were you making a questionable decision this past weekend?
I didn't see any. I mean, questionable decisions this weekend. He really had his hands tied. He didn't have much he could do with the lineup. So I think he went with as many guys as he had, um,
Hmm.
the normal starters, and then he just plugged in guys from there. So
Right, right. So, like you said, he had a bench. He really couldn't work. Like you said, he has
I mean,
hands.
they had 16 guys. They only had 16 guys on the bench, and I think you're eligible 18, I believe, or something like that.
Wow. So yeah,
So
you're quite short stand. I mean, at some point, I thought the mascot was going to get in there to
yeah,
try to
fine,
produce.
fine.
So I thought Fang was going to have to come in there to produce. But look, you look at this team as a whole. Like I said, they got a big weekend coming up again. Um, but what can they do to bounce back again? Um, we know South, Subaru Park's not the toughest, easiest place to play, but they're going to have to tighten some things up this weekend. Unfortunately, that was an L. This was a throwaway game that you didn't really want to throw away. However, it is what it is. It's still early in the season. You still can make all your adjustments. Like I say, you're short staffed. I expect this team is going to be rock and rolling this weekend.
Yeah,
Um,
it's definitely
but
not time to hit the panic button. 5 games into a season, like I said, they're six in the league. They're six in the league in goals. They're second in the league in shots created. So it's there. It's just a matter of getting that ball in the back of the net more times and stopping the other team on the other side. You
mhm.
know.
And
So
exactly. I mean,
the
okay.
problem with another problem with them, they have given up a goal in every single game in the first 32 minutes of the game. You know, the Union's not built to come from behind. They're built to play with the lead. They're built to play from ahead. You know what I mean? And once they get the lead, they can back their team up a little bit and just hold on to wins. So
Correct. Correct. And they can hold on to wins. Like again, they have to learn. Like I said, again, you have to take this game for what it was. Both teams had, their, well, more so than Union had their bench in it, and Union and Orlando took every advantage of this team, and taking their liberties and getting a sweet W. Um, my question to you is, though, you have Orlando. I mean, you have Kansas City up now. Are you concerned at all about Andre Blake getting the start, or do you think he has to work off some rust? What's your preparation for him getting a fresh start?
well, if he's ready to go, get him in there. You know what I mean? He's
Mhm.
he's three time goaltender of the year in MLS. He's Tim Curtin said before the injury that Andre's always been a quick healer. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
think it's just all up to the coaching staff whether they think he's 100% ready to go. Now, if he's not 100% ready to go, don't risk it because you can't really afford a long-term injury for Andre Blake. You need him, as you can see. Joe Bednick, he's just not it. You
No.
know, he's he's serviceable when you need him to step in, I guess, for a time like he just did, but he's not good.
No, and to Diego, before we get to the next point, here goes our man Chris Rapizzi checking in. Always, happy birthday, bro.
Good luck,
Um,
Chris.
so Diego, I think we were all spoiled by Nick Foles and his miracle crazy Super Bowl run because when we look at backups, we're having some kind of that glastering hope that a backup can hold on to the fort until then. But like usually in all sports, once you get to your backup, it's
You're
you might
risking
as
it.
well just you're risking it. You have to 9 times out of 10 you might as well just throw the white flag in because you know you're pretty much it's pretty much a loss at that point. So like you said, Joe Bicknick, he's not the guy. Like you said, he may be a serviceable backup, but more so than not, he's going to get lit up, and he did get lit up, unfortunately. And like you said, and him not having a defense in front of him really, really hurt him. So I
Right.
mean,
I'm not even blaming him for the goals, really. You know what I mean? Like I said, he gives up the goals that go in, like supposed to go in. They had a couple nice goals. Andre Blake makes the incredible save, the one that
Mhm.
should be a goal, and Andre stops that. That's what really separates him. Bednick made all the saves he had to save, all the saves he had to make. Maybe he could have made one or two other saves on one of these goals the last couple games, but he's been solid from what he's asked to do. He's asked to be a backup goaltender. But Andre comes in, he makes a spectacular saves that your team feeds off of. You're like, all right,
Mhm.
let's get a goal for that guy who's bailed us out 10 times this game. Yeah.
Right,
So
and this is like again, this is to the Joel Embiid to the Paul Reed effect. You know what I mean? This is you're asking Paul Reed to do what Embiid can do, and it's not going to happen. Embiid's an
right,
elite superstar, and Paul Reed is just a serviceable backup. This is the same thing. Andre Blake could do much more. Again, uh, one of the top, well, the if not one of the top, goaltenders in MLS, and you again you fall back to a goaltender that's not even on anybody's radar. So,
right.
um, and it's a shame because that in today's sports you kind of I feel like you need that Sturgill backup, and I don't know if he's the guy, but like I said, not it also hurt the team not having a defense in front of him. So like I said, you look at the opposite side of the board too. They honestly, like I said, 2 goals still is not bad for a bunch of bench players, not bad
No,
at all. You know what I mean? And like I said, that's like I said, but again, coming back home, your home turf against a Kansas City team, are you starting to feel like trap games are in play? Because even though we were supposed to go to Montreal and win, uh, they were not looking good as always, to their start, and yet we fell short there. Do you have starting to worry about this team a little bit when it comes to the bottom feeder teams?
no. I mean, so last week's not a trap game. I feel like both teams were shorthanded, and the one shorthanded team played better than the other shorthanded team. The week before that, Montreal, that was their first game at home. 4 games into the season, that was
Right,
their first game
right.
at home. So you always expect a team to be ready to play at home. That's just been the road for the first couple of games of the year and lost. So I expected the Montreal to be up for that, but I don't expect KC to be up for it. KC's a
No,
bottom feeder team. I don't. We're getting our guys back.
right.
They've only scored 2 goals all season. Now check this out. The Union have 76 shots on net, 8 goals. Tied second place in the league. Kansas City's actually tied with the Philadelphia Union with 76 shots created on net, but they only got 2 goals. So there's a difference between us and them. Like our offense looks like they can get the job done a little bit. They look like they're just
Hmm.
getting a bunch of shots on net, but not really much creation in the shots, and goals.
Right, you bring a good point. You need to get creative in that offensive zone, and those guys are not being very creative. Again, however, and again, I feel like this is that wounded animal against the wall kind of scenario for Kansas City. Like you said, they have 2, 3 losses, 2 draws, 5 games. I think 3 losses and 2 draws. I think their backs are kind of against the wall. Like
Yeah, they're
even
tied. They're the second worst team in the league. They're second to bottom. So
Yeah, so I feel like they had to come out, and punching you on all cylinders. If not, that's a Titanic boat waiting to go down,
well,
unfortunately.
what's hurting KC right now is they're players that like they're designated players. In MLS, you're allowed to have 3 designated players. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you can play them over the salary cap for them 3 players. 2 of them guys, one Ginga kinda hasn't produced at all, really. And when he's been on the field, he's just been out of form. And then Alu Polito, he had 8 goals on 15 starts last year. He hasn't been healthy. And when he has been healthy, he hasn't been able to produce the way they pay them guys to produce. So whenever
Right.
you're overpaying guys on your roster, especially like in the MLS, where there's not like amazing players everywhere, you're overpaying guys and they're not producing. You're going to be a bottom feeder team in the MLS.
Exactly right, and that's what I'm saying. You have to right. You have to when you're not getting paid like that, you're gonna have to take care of those bottom feeder teams, and I see that. I don't like I said, you're gonna get some guys back. You're gonna get Andre Blake between the pipes. I don't see much of Kansas City offense going off this weekend, and I think they're going to struggle again. I don't see it again. Listen. Maybe I have blue and gold sunglasses on. I'm okay with it, but I just feel like Jim Curran's going to have some tools to work with to able, get what he needs done. Make the plays he needs to make, and take put away again. Put away this bad team. Just take them down. Just get them at your hair again. Get the 2 points. Get your points on the scoreboard. Start climbing up the standings, which we desperately need to do. Again, you got a bunch of teams I know that we're better than. The record says different. The only team I've really been impressed with, like you said, is one of the newer teams in the league is St. Louis.
They can't stop winning.
Yeah, they definitely can. They definitely are becoming a juggernaut of the league, catching everybody's eyes. Um, but listen, I know one man who's catching everybody's eyes, whether he just pumped out his article today, as our man Austin. Austin, what's going on, brother?
Gentlemen, how we doing?
What's up, dude?
What's going on? Happy birthday, Diego.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, so honestly, dude, I I did not like what I saw from the match on Saturday. For the most part, it was not. Granted, you're missing a lot of key pieces, so you're probably not going to get the best possible product out there, but just was not great overall.
No. And that, like I said, so what was some of your takeaways too, Austin? I mean, like I said, me and Diego were talking about, there was defensive problems. There was obviously you're not having your number one goal to lead in between the pipes. I mean, what else? What else were some of your worries out there?
The main things that I was worried about was just the defense overall. Kai Wagner and Jacob Glesnes and Jack Elliott all did not look like they usually do when it comes to their position play. Um, just a lot of very sloppy play, and of course, another match where near the end, Kai Wagner started getting very upset, and I feel like he's just been very hot headed this season compared to what he usually is. Um, it's good to see, but at the same time, where's that when we're winning matches? You know what I mean? If you're gonna try and play that hot, like you need to keep that same energy consistently, and a lot of the times I'm not really seeing it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. Kai Wagner hasn't been the same Kai this year. He's been a little bit angry, seems like out there. He wants to fight everybody and he wants to scream at everybody. He
Yeah,
doesn't seem like much into the game. He just seems angry. We need
really
him to
does.
get back on track. He is dealing with a hammy injury. That's what Jim
Yeah,
Curran, a minor hamstring injury. So let's hope he plays because, I mean, even though he's not having a great year, he's definitely the best guy, one of the best players we have on this team. And definitely the best guy we have for that position. So
yeah, without a doubt, he's definitely the best player, one of if not the best player at that position in MLS overall.
right.
Um,
Last year he led the league in assists, second in the league in assists, first from a defender. So
yeah,
it's pretty solid.
and to have his foot not be as clean on service as it was all of last season is another thing that you just you kind of hope that they can try and find a way to fix it during training throughout the weeks. Hopefully, um, you would like to see it start to come together. Would have kind of hoped for a few things to come together during that match on Saturday, comparatively to what we saw. But you got to take the good with the bad. There's still plenty of matches left throughout the season, and you got this one on Saturday, and then you turn around and go right into CCL play again. So there's a lot that you have to sort of just leave it behind you. Don't look in the rear view at all, and just keep pushing.
Yeah, I mean this week coming up, they should be looking at this like this is the get right game.
Yeah,
This is where we get informed. This is where we drop 5 goals on Kansas City, and this team really starts to open up going forward. Kansas City is not a good team right now.
yeah, they're
You
really
know,
not. They're no wins so far this season. Very very uninspiring performance from Sporting Kansas City overall this year, and this is definitely a match that you want to be able to try and get right and be able to just carry momentum going into, like I said, going into the CCL play and going for a 3 week stretch on the road before you even come back home.
right?
You play Chicago, Cincinnati, and I believe Toronto, and then
Yeah,
you come
Toronto.
back. Yeah, and then you come back home. So like you want to get these points before you get into CCL play and get into everything else going forward. It's going to be tough, but you just have to hope that you can turn it around and be able to just push forward here, get these 3 points, get into the Champions League play, hopefully get a win there in the first leg, and then take this on the road and just keep rocking.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna have to start pulling. They weren't too great in the road last year,
Yeah,
so
they
they're gonna
really
have
weren't.
to, after getting off to this bad start, they're gonna have to get some points on the road in them 3 games, because you go and have a terrible road trip, that could really start to
Yeah,
really drop you down.
I was taking a look at some of the analytics last night when I was putting the article together, and our expected goals per game drops by close to a half a point when we're on the road comparatively to at home.
Yeah, there's Subaru Park's a huge factor.
That we commit more fouls. We're carded more, and also we have less shots overall, all on the road. We're definitely not as aggressive, as cleanly aggressive as we usually are at home, which is definitely a glaring thing that you want them to be able to try and start to fix, hopefully, because like we've been saying, if you can be able to carry the style of play that you have at home to being able to play on the road, you're going to be in a lot better position going forward for this season.
Yep.
And there are a lot of road games that you cannot leave points on the table, especially early on. Honestly, no matter what point you're at in the season, dropping points on the road is going to be huge if you keep doing it.
Yeah, and then so let's say it's a big road trip coming up,
Oh yeah.
After this home game here. So let's get it started with KC. Let's take a drop a bomb on them and get informed going on the road.
Yeah, and especially getting Blake back is going to be huge, because not having him, you had Bendick in there who wasn't really, you could just tell from after he got scored on that first time to start the stretch of games at home, he did not look confident. He really didn't, and the I guess you could just say the mediocre play that you're getting from the back line is really not helping out at all. So hopefully getting Blake back gives these guys a bit of a lift and gets them to play the way that we know they can play.
Right. Well, me and Pat were just talking about Andre Blake before you came on the show, and like we said, Andre makes them spectacular saves. He makes them saves where you're like, wow, that kept us in the game. Where not most goalies make them saves. So even if Bednick played solid, you're always going to have a huge disparity between him and a superstar goalie.
Oh yeah.
Because even if he does his job, some goals that he can't make, Andre makes, that most goalies in this league can't make, and that's a big difference for this team. And it's probably made this defense look better over the years than maybe it actually is. Not saying it's not a great defense, but we've seen Andre bail them out time and time and time again. That's why he's a 3-time goalkeeper of the year.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like that comparison from the mid to late 90s of having Brodeur or Hasek as your number one, and then having them go down and having someone like Garth Snow or John Van
exactly.
back them up.
Exactly.
It's like this guy's a pretty well-known name. He's been around the league a bunch, but my God, is the difference just glaringly obvious.
Yeah. I mean, Bendick did make a couple nice saves in that Orlando game in the second half to keep us in the game, but maybe one of them goals that went in early on, Andre will save one of them. Now you're looking at 1-0 going forward, opposed to 2-0 right off the bat. And I feel like that's where Andre keeps you in games and helps you get wins as a goaltender.
Yeah, and I feel like that's pretty much the main reason why he was considered an MVP candidate as well, is because of the fact that him on the field, the team is better with that than not having him not there. Definitely. And honestly, the same thing could have been said about Daniel Gosdog, because you're seeing how this team is playing without him, and it's the offense. You can tell that there's a disparity in the attack without him on the pitch.
And you could tell that they needed Martinez and Gosdog. You see the holes in both sides when both them guys were missing over this weekend. So we see how important they are to the success of the Union. So anyone that says Martinez isn't great or nothing, you really see how important he is to this team when he's not here. That back line was atrocious for the first 15 minutes of that game. And then towards the end too, where Martinez, he covers so much space back there, and he allows Wagner more freedom. He allows Bazio more freedom, and he takes so much control of that. When you've seen a huge disparity at the beginning of that game and towards the end of that game.
Yeah, and even more so just for other players in the mid, it gives Leon Flock a ton more flexibility as well.
Yeah, everybody.
Right. So I mean, look at it. Right. This is a team that had was had their C squad. This is amateur night, and they still walked away 2 goals. So it tells you how good of a head coach Jim Curtin really is. He doesn't have all the tools in hand, but yet walks out and makes he turns it into a hoopty into a nice Cadillac. Like he still knows how to do some things right. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing. Again, maybe he's found some diamonds in the rough, so to speak, with some young guys who were finding the back of the net. Maybe he has in the back of his mind now. All right, well, this was to me, I'm going to take this as a throwaway game. This is an extra preseason game. Now, look, I know there's a lot of games still got to be played. Look, I know Philly doesn't like a loss, but look, we can bounce back from there. There's like you said in the interview, there are some shiny spots there, and he gave you the X's and the Y. So, you guys, again, there's a silver lining in all this. There's going to be some bright side. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Jim Curtin knows exactly what he's doing. Now all of a sudden, now he might have something, a couple things up his sleeve come this Saturday, waiting for Kansas City. And again, to me, just like I said to you guys last week, is this a trap game? No, 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 no. And they lose. So to a casual fan, they go, well, they keep on losing these trap games. But I think they're going to come out with some firepower this Saturday night.
Honestly, I wouldn't have. I didn't consider Saturday's match a trap game simply because of the fact that both teams were missing very key contributors to their side. So I feel like the playing field was more level than
Mhm.
with the full squads available. We would definitely have had an advantage, and you could have considered it that if it was the full 11 that you would normally see throughout the entire season.
Right.
But having the people that we had out on international duty, it kind of definitely it makes the
Right.
team have to take a bit of a heavier hit when they're getting ready to put that 11 together because you know who your normal guys are. Most of them aren't there. It's tougher decisions that you have to make. I mean, and also on top of that, having Carranza having to serve that 1 game suspension for the yellow accumulation in the Montreal
Yeah,
match.
we didn't even mention him.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to touch on was not having Carranza as well. So you might as well have just said we didn't have 8 players because of what's been going on. So it's just, what I think it was like over 50% of those guys were in our starting 11. So
Mhm.
it's tough to be able to put your best foot forward when you're missing half your toes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing I would like to see Jim Curtin do as this season goes on. I would like him to move on from Leon Flock in the starting lineup and put McGlynn in there to start.
Yeah, I would love
Ooh.
to see a lot more of McGlynn in the rotation for sure, especially as a starter because he helped the team produce a lot more in the tail
Well,
end of the season as a
he's one of
starter.
he's one of the better passers on the team.
Yeah, he definitely
He-
he last year statistically was the best passer on the team.
okay,
So
yeah,
not having him start, I feel like is definitely hindering you a good bit. Although Flock's defensive capabilities are always really strong, where
yeah. He didn't
McGlynn's
look
more of an offensive guy.
he didn't look like he could do anything out there
He
this
definitely
weekend for Atlanta. He was just around.
yeah,
That's all I can say about him. He was just out there. He wasn't really doing
that
anything.
was that is definitely proof that not having Brujo is like a very glaring thing because of the fact that Flock wasn't able to play as openly as he usually does when
Yeah,
Martinez is there. He had to really try and pick up a lot more of that slack that he normally wouldn't have to worry about. And it was putting Wagner in a bad spot. It made
yep.
Wagner. You can tell that Wagner was very, very PO'd throughout most of that match, and I feel like a lot
Mhm.
of it is because of the fact that no Martinez puts a lot more weight on both the Bizo Harriel side and the Wagner side because
Yep,
he can really stretch the field defensively side to side.
definitely.
Yeah, so let me ask you too, Austin, and Diego. Do you think the rain's going to play effect into Saturday night's game, where Kansas City might have the advantage? You think the rain plays a little bit of an effect?
I feel like rain can always play an effect in a soccer game.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Balls don't spin the way they're supposed to. They don't go as far as you expect them to, or they end up short. You know what I'm saying? A lot can happen, but I just think this Kansas City team's playing too poorly right now to beat us in any condition. You know?
yeah, 100% agree. It's
yeah. I
the
mean,
ball
yeah,
the
no,
ball is going to move a lot slower on those stretch passes, so you're going to have to put a lot more of them into the air, and a lot of the stretch forward is going to have to be played through the air instead of on the ground, and we've we definitely do play really well when we have to put some of our passes up.
Yeah.
So let's hope that we can get those proper touches, get a nice ball in the air, a nice, I guess you could say, a nice through ball in the air, which is kind of like an oxymoronic statement if you
Mhm.
think about it. But like, just you just hope that the touches are there. Hope that it's not too bad. Hope that the playing surface isn't as bad as you would think it's gonna be with the rain.
Now the weather's supposed to 100% be rain.
From what I've seen, it's looking like it's going to be very likely throughout a majority of the match.
Nice.
Yeah, what I saw. It's going to be 70 degrees. It's going to be
Wow.
but rainy. So, um,
It's April, guys.
Yeah,
yeah,
happy April.
yeah. So I mean, so I'm looking at Kansas City's roster here. Like I said, Tim Malia is your goaltender. You have Johnny Russell as a forward. You have uh, and just look at some of the names. Maybe you guys will pop up at you. Felipe Henderson, Hernandez is your midfielder. Um, yeah, so like I said, not too many guys who scare you. Like I said, more of a probably a defense team than anything. But like I said, I don't think they have too much firepower to threaten with. Like I said, averaging 1 goal a game. Um, and I think their season might be, even though it's still early, I think their season could be in a lot of trouble.
I mean,
I agree.
they also have Roger Espinosa in the midfield and Graham Zusi on the back line, so they're definitely very
Mm,
staunch in terms of their defensive capability. Their offense hasn't been there just yet, and it's always very possible to be able to try and catch a team that's trying to bounce back and be able to just push them down a little further. So,
right, right.
it could be one of those things where this is, aside from it being a get right match for us, it's even more of a get right match for them because they need a win now.
Right, and let me ask you too, guys. Is this if they lose, Kansas City lose, say if they get swallowed by like 4-0, is this where the general manager goes like this to the coach? No, you don't get on the airplane. You better find Uber. You're fired. Uh, you
I
better
mean,
find your own way home. Don't
I
don't even
really
look at the private jet.
I really doubt it's going to be because I mean, you're in the fifth match week, so there's still plenty of time to really see what the coach can do. Um, and also the MLS, there's not really too many mid-season firings. It usually
That's how
happens.
I am. That's
It's
exactly
usually
what I was going to say.
it's usually an off-season thing that happens. Like I feel like the reason why Curtin hasn't signed his contract with the union yet is because they're waiting until the season ends to begin the talks. Because you don't want to have that floating around your head while you're also trying to do what you need to do as a coach for your team.
Right.
Good point.
100%.
Good point, Austin. Yeah, that could be a thing. Like you say, I don't want you thinking about your contract. Just think about winning. Yeah, I mean, just worry about your job in front of you. So worry about what comes after. So, and that may be floating in the back of his head. Like, there might be pressure up there. Like, I got to play well and do what I got to do. And like you said, I think, not this game, obviously, maybe a game before I remember you guys saying in the group chat, like, why did he make this move for this guy and all that stuff? So there could be some of that, playing into the back of his mind somewhere real stated, saying to himself, like, I need to have a plan B or something like that. But I'm also worried about, I need it, maybe he's under pressure in his own mind. Like, I got to perform well or I'm going to lose my job well, I mean, it wouldn't matter because if he was if the union would let him go in a hiccup, someone would find him. You know what I mean? You'd be crazy.
I feel like if the union were to part ways with Jim Curtin mid-season, it would basically signal that he's probably going to be doing something in some capacity with the men's national team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the only way. Okay, what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
yeah, he would be going for an upgrade. But and look, and those shoes are hard to fill too. So I mean, at least that's the only way he would be getting out of here. But if that would be, I could see the union wanting trying to keep him here. I mean, again, you were just a hiccup away from winning an MLS Cup to bringing a championship to Philadelphia. You're consistently in the playoff realm. This is like the Andy Reid run right now that we're getting with Jim Curtin. I mean, I have yet to see a coach like this since Andy Reid. When you're constantly in the playoffs, you're constantly in the hunt. You're just on the knock. You're knocking on the doorstep of a MLS championship. You're just it was one bad shootout that went south for you. So But like I said, looking towards back to square one of this key matchup here. Uh, what's your expectations of this game, Diego? What do the Union have to do perfectly for you?
Yeah, well, I just think they have to get back to what they usually do. You know what I mean? Play
Hmm.
good defense, create chances on the counter, and bury your opportunities. Like I was saying earlier in the show,
Hmm.
they're second in the league in shots created at 76. So they're there, and they're sixth in the league in goals with 8. So as bad as
Right.
it looks, I feel like them numbers are a little bit telling of what this team's capable of. So and they're 10th in the league in aerial balls won. So they're still winning balls over the top, which
Right.
was also key for this team on how they play offense. That's how they play. They have to win aerial balls. They have to get out on the counter attack and play good defense. And I just thought their defense hasn't been that crisp this year, where they haven't been creating
Hmm.
them very, very dangerous counters like they were last year. But the numbers are there, and I think this team is right there for a breakout. Where they start ripping these wins off.
Yeah, it's really only a matter of time with the way that we know that the Union can play, and you see flashes of it in every match. Like the push will be there. Like you said, 10th in the league in aerial balls won, and with the way the weather's looking to be, this is the prime weather and prime game to be able to prove that you are one of the better offenses in the league
Yep,
overall.
I
And
agree.
having
Yeah.
the second most shots created, that's just proof how well we're able to get the ball through into these nice open spaces to be able to just start ripping. And it's only a matter of time before they start finding the back of the net.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's like you said. Like you said, the offense has got to step up. The defense has got to be there for you. You're going to have the best, if not the guy, Andre Blake between the pipes. I don't like I said, I was a little concerned with the talking with Diego this earlier. I don't know if he may have to shake the rust off, seeing live bolts coming at him. But I think overall, I think he should be ready to rock and roll
Yeah,
come
and the
game time.
yeah, and the main thing that I brought up earlier is you really hope that it gives that back line a good little boost because of the fact
Mm-hmm.
that if you can limit as much as possible before they even get the opportunity to shoot, you don't have to worry about if he's rusty or not. If he can make a cup, if they get like say 3 shots on goal and he stops all 3, perfectly fine, because
Right.
you'll think they'll probably have about 12 total shots. So if only 3 of them get through, phenomenal.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So quickly though, looking around the league though, of course you have New England. I hate to give Boston any credit in this day and age. Boston 4-1, leading the East right now. You have Cincinnati right behind them at 3-2. 3-1 is Atlanta. Guys, we're sitting at the AC. We desperately need the win though in the worst way. Unfortunately, like I said, this loss though hurts us in the standings. We need to start climbing up the ladder, and I think when we get some pieces back, I think we should be able to do that. I mean, and then like me and you, Diego, talked about prior Austin come on the show, that this St. Louis team is just catching the world by
Dude,
fire. Five and zero.
they're 3 off from tying the record that Columbus Crew set when they first joined MLS.
Wow.
8 is
Yeah,
the record.
and
They're coming for it.
yeah,
Dude, they're coming in hot too, dude. They got that incredible, like really strong win against Austin to start, and have just been
Yeah.
riding that
Yeah,
momentum.
they've been riding that.
Dude, it's been
Um,
insane. There was the quote from the one guy like asking like, what is it that's making you guys be able to win? He goes, well, it's either we win and you cry, or we don't win and my mom cries, and I don't like to make my mom cry. Like I was
wow,
like, that is perfect.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good mentality to have, right?
I
When
love it.
you're a new team like that.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
here's the thing with the Union, right? When you're looking at the standings there, I feel like this year they've been at the top for the last 3 years. It's hard to stay there for a long time with the new format in the playoffs, where it's 3 games, best out of 3. Just just make just make sure you get in 5, 5, 6 seed, because now you're going to get a game at home every single time. So out of the
yeah,
3 game series, whether you got to go on the road, it's so hard to play at Subaru Park. It's almost a guaranteed win. So let's look at it that way. You get that win at home, you got to steal 1 on the road out of the 2 games. And I feel like that's the way you go at it this year with these other cups coming up. Like we're in the quarterfinals of the CCL. The league's open starting soon. That new League's Cup. Like there's a couple other things to be played for this year. So let's just make the playoffs. Let's not worry too much about finishing at the top of the division because it's so hard to play at Subaru Park. You almost guarantee a win in every single series when you got to come play here.
Yeah,
And
like you
right,
said, and like you said, Diego, especially considering the fact that you have multiple tournaments that you're participating in throughout the season. It's hard to not only participate in them and play and be able to run through those, but also maintain a standing at the top of a table at the same time. Like
Yeah,
Arsenal's been doing pretty well with it this year over in England, but I'm pretty sure they barely made it through round of 16 in the two tournaments that they played, and they're out of both.
right.
So they were just like, all right, well, that's done. Let's just continue to dominate EPL and just keep going with that. So
Yeah,
like
exactly.
even if you bow out of the tournaments at this point, like sure, like would it suck? Absolutely. But now your focus is completely shifted and you're able to just get back to doing what you do best, and that's win matches. So I
Exactly.
mean, I don't I feel like the main thing that we should talk about is the fact that New England and Cincinnati are in the top friggin' three of this conference right now. Like,
who would have thought?
I think
Well,
I think
Cincinnati
that's
was
surprised.
expected to have a really good offense coming into the year.
Yeah, but I mean, like at the same time, like it's the team that we've known for the last like four of the last 5 years to be a bottom feeder,
Right.
and New England was sort of that last year. So to see them both like have that complete flip of their script is just insane to see. Like it's really nice to see it, but New England more than Cincinnati, I feel like it's just a blip in the radar. Like New England still has a lot that they have to really piece together, and they've got some decent pieces now. But I feel like they'll start to hit their skid eventually. But it's also a very long season, so they could be hot for a good while and then cool off at the wrong time, and you could easily see them drop from being like a top five to a bottom five.
Right.
Yeah, like you were just saying, you have New England, you have Cincy, you have ATL. ATL has always been in that team that's always been in I'd say it starts out hot, then kind of fiddles
They're
out a
very
little
up and
bit.
down.
Yeah, right. They always go up and down bumps in the road for them all the time. And then you look at the Western Conference right now. You have, well, obviously St. Louis has just been a wrecking ball out there. You have uh, LAFC. You have Seattle, who's catching wind right now. So, and like I said, it's a good time right now. But like I said, what are your key X factor, Austin, into this Saturday night matchup? What do you need to see? What's your X and O's keys of victory?
The main two things that I want to see are I want to see how the defense plays now that Blake is back. I want to see if they can get it together. Start. I feel like a lot of their issue is they're not communicating as effectively as they were before. So you need to get back to that.
Hmm.
More than anything for the offense, having Carranza is going to be huge because you could tell that like even though Chris Donovan is a decent talent, he's still not ready.
No.
That match on Saturday proved it. I mean, you even saw it in that first leg of the Alianza CCL matchup that he is not at that point to be able to play at this level yet.
No, he shows potential though. Like he
Yeah,
makes the runs. He makes the runs. He's got speed. So the potential for growth is there. You can
exactly.
see it. But he
Yeah,
does not have the finish yet.
not yet.
He has no class in the attacking third. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Yes,
So,
yes,
he'll
yes.
get that though. Honestly, yeah, I know it's big having Carranza back, but I feel like the reason he got suspended was because he's been so frustrated this year. And that
yeah,
card to me was just such a sign of frustration because it was you were playing on a card already. You went and attacked that ball when there was no reason to. The guy was passing it away from the net,
yep,
so that was more of a frustration card that I seen there. So
yeah, definitely.
let's hope the suspension served him well. And now, when you sometimes you get a game off, 2 games off, you watch on the sidelines, you're like, I want to get back out there. And then you
Yeah,
get back out there and you feel good again. So let's hope
yeah,
that's how he responds back. Because to me, like I agree with Austin, that's the key. If you unlock Carranza's 20 goals, then we're hard to beat.
exactly. And like you said, that one match off from that suspension was probably the mental reset that he needed because you could tell from after that first match, every time he would get the ball and he couldn't score, he was getting angrier and angrier every single
Yeah.
game. And I feel like he just finally just he had that one little crack of it really quick, and he tried to pull himself back. He got the card and was like, "Well, damn it.
Yeah.
And then had to sit on the slot, had to sit up in the box and watch the game. It was like, you know what? Let's do this. I think I've
Mhm.
got this now. Because like
Sometimes you need that.
yeah, every once in a while you just need to be able to just sit back from that and just watch it all develop and be like, damn, if I can just get
Yeah,
back out there, dude, I got this again.
I
And
agree.
I really feel like Carranza is that kind of guy because like, you can just tell from how he is like on and off the field that like he definitely is like more than anything he just loves to have fun, and he definitely wasn't to start the year after those 2 goals.
No,
And this is definitely going to be something that he needs to be able to come back in and get to that 20 goal form that we saw from him last season for
right.
sure.
Yep, definitely. So I think we're pretty much on the same point here. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's get Martinez back and helping that defense out, and let's get Carranza unlocked here. Let's get him some goals. Let's get him feeling good. He makes our attack very dangerous when he's playing at his potential.
Yeah. And
And
one of go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Pat.
Austin. No,
After
so
you
my question to you guys is okay, and I kind of mentioned this a little earlier. Um, Jim Curtin, what are some okay? Like you mentioned, Crosby, he's going to get some pieces back. What X's and O pieces would you need to see for him to start lining up the board? They got set, how can he start setting the tone somewhere as far as being creative with the score, with the chalkboard? What do you need to see? What do you need? You need to see some more outside the box shooting. You need some getting more in the zone, more inside the box, getting some goals. What do you guys need to see from this team?
Well, Jim Curtin wanted to take the blame after the game, but honestly, for watching the game, the players are to blame. In my opinion, Jim's playbook has always been the same. You have to be crisp on defense. You have to do what exactly how his game plan is put out there, and if not, then I think the players take the blame because we've seen how good Jim Curtin's game plan is executed when the players are on point.
Correct,
yeah,
and
yeah,
same. So,
and
good.
the other thing that you really want to see is within the 8 yard box, you want to see a lot better play. You
Yeah,
haven't really been seeing a ton of it, and I feel like getting Carranza back is going to help out with a lot of that because aside from Donovan and Ua are both what 6 foot, maybe five
yeah,
ten.
not huge.
Carranza's a tall dude, man. He has that presence in the box. And I feel like at the tail end of that Orlando match, you were seeing a lot of Glesnes and Elliott coming forward, not only out of the fact that we were trying to draw even, but because we were losing those battles in the height game in the box. So you
Yes.
were trying to get your tallest guys in there to be able to win those aerial balls and be able to get the head on it.
Well,
So
our
getting
best
Carranza
playmaker,
back gives us a lot of that.
100%. Our best playmaker on Saturday was Glesnes.
Yeah.
Even Curtin said that. He's like, I thought Glesnes played. When I asked him the question, he's like, I thought Glesnes played great, but that's not who you want bringing the ball and making your chances. If you're doing that, then who's back there defending?
Yeah,
Elliott by himself?
there were 2 or 3 times in that Orlando match near the tail end of it where Glesnes was the one making the run forward with the ball. Like
And we
and
had we
and
had
he was
chances.
and he was cutting dudes up too.
Yeah.
Like he was stop he was like stutter stepping and everything. Like this man was doing all sorts of stuff that you're like, he's a defender. One, sick. Two, why? Like
Right, exactly. One, sick. Two, if he messes up on one of them plays, like I said, that defense is very vulnerable back there now. You're on the counter, he's
yep,
behind. Now you got
quick
three,
drop him
3,
and
4 on 2.
Yeah. So,
yeah, and it becomes a really big issue.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But listen, guys. Well, you know what? You talk about defense. Well, let's get some sponsors there because our man David R. Cherry Esquire, man, he can help you with some defense here, working compensation, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law. Hit up our man David R. Cherry Esquire 610-565-0300. And guys, if you guys need to looking into getting some sports. You guys want to go check out the Union game this weekend. You guys want to hang out with Austin this weekend and hang out with him and his great, you just want to chill and get to know him and all that stuff. Here you go. Go sports, concerts, theaters, whatever you need to do this weekend for some fun. Go to cherryticketstown.com and use the promo code EOP and save yourself 10% off. And A-Town Down, this is yours, my man.
Oh,
So look,
and
again,
if you guys are Philly fans in for any sport at all, hit up our guys at Philly Sports Trips. We got this bus trip going to the Bronx to see the Phillies play the Yanks on April 3rd. We got if you're an Eagles fan, go out to Kansas City for the draft. Our boy Gus is going to be there. If you're a Union fan, obviously you're here. They have a trip out to Denver, May 13th through the 16th, to go and watch the Union play the Colorado Rapids. That same weekend, if you're also a Phillies fan, get in on the Ultimate Baseball Denver trip, Phillies Rockies for that same weekend. If you really like soccer, like the guys here do, they're going to London, they're going to Leeds, May 24th to 30th. Be in a pub in London watching the boys take down NYCFC at 1:30 in the morning local time in London. Go to phillysportstrips.com. Tell them the boys from the Attacking Third sent you. Shout outs to them for sponsoring.
All right, D-Dub, you want this one, birthday boy?
Yeah, guys. If you ever have time, looking for a good time to get a drink, head down to Dolan's Bar in Ridley, PA. They have Quizzo, music, great times, memorabilia giveaway. Dolan's Bar. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter to get a little more about them. And yeah, that's it.
No, listen, guys. Look, that was all of our great sponsors. Again, our man Vinny. I'm definitely going to try and get a hold of him. He's the guy who runs phillysportstrips.com. He's a big Union head. Again, look at that total package. Like Austin said, you go May 13th through 16th. Listen, you can make a weekend of it. Phillies, versus Rockies, and then you go to take on the Union and they're in the Colorado out there. So again, that's a weekend of fun. But anyways.
Even if you're not a Union fan, that Leeds trip is great. Going to Leeds
London.
Across the pond.
Yes, and speaking of, again,
get to go in towards Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, it's dope no matter what.
Exactly, and look, Union fans, if you're piggybacking off that year you saw before, you're questioning yourself, like, I don't know about this team. They lost. Listen, Saturday was just amateur night. Okay, this is like if you're going down to a show in town, you're seeing all the ugly chicks dancing on the table. No, you're not going to get that. You're going to get the top priority dancer. You're going to get the best dancers coming on the table right now. That's what Saturday's going to be for. You're going to get some Union superstars back in the lineup. So that's the way you want to go.
I mean, I'll break it down to you like this. If you go to sherrystickets.com using that EOP10 discount code, before the discount code even applies, the most expensive ticket for the match on Saturday is $165.
Right. So someone
you'll save $17 on that, and it's literally the first row of a section for $165. Right. Lowest priced one was top row of a section, $50.
Right, because usually guys like
that's a great time. The Union game is a great time, dude.
It is. Yeah. Listen, I can speak for experience. When I went down there, the Sons of Ben are rocking and rolling. They're pumping the crowds up. You got the beautiful bridge in the background. There's nothing like it. And of course, you get the 14-inch hot dog. I think it's like this. I've seen it down there. I had I had to test the inner gobbler, see if I could take it down. And boy, it's tough. And the hot cocoa is great. I've been through the whole thing. So guys, look, take it from me as a fan. I'm a fan of this, stuff. And again, they said Saturday, and Joe Sullivan, if I know you're listening, listen, Saturday will not be amateur night. You're not going to get the sloppy, fat chicks on the table. You're going to get the superstars. I'm going to break it down because Joe Sullivan's a big fan of strip clubs. So you're going to get the A team coming up on the stage.
Gus will be down there this weekend, right?
It'll be Austin.
Oh, Austin, you're down there this weekend?
Yeah.
A-Town down. A-Town down. He'll be down there. So guys, listen.
I think I'll be there for the CCL on Tuesday.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
So listen,
that's gonna be a good one, dude. That Atlas matchup, man. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, Tuesday night, 8:00. We'll be in the building. Media member.
Yeah. So again, you get Gus Austin Saturday. You get Diego Tuesday night. You can't beat it. So again, Union fans, this is the time for you to meet some of the Attacking Third members and the family. So guys, check out all the articles on the edgeofphillysports.com. Read up on all the information. Before we let you go, guys, final predictions for this Saturday. Go, Diego.
It's a spanking this weekend. It's 4-0 Philly. Back on track. Let's start reeling these off. Sporting's trash.
Wow, that easy. He killed him with kindness, Cobra Kai style. I like it. I like it. He just went John Kreese, just punched in the throat and just dropped him. I like it. What do you got there, Austin?
There was a part of me earlier today that was feeling 5-0, and then I saw the Phillies go up 5-0 and get a 9 bomb dropped on them. So I
Oh,
kind of
Yeah,
want
you're
to,
feeling
unbelievable.
I kind of want to, I want to redact my brain from that and say that I'm gonna go with Diego and go 4-0.
okay.
I feel like all three of no, Carranza gets 2, Ua gets 1, Torres subs on as a super sub late and gets a banger.
Yeah, I can see
I,
that exactly.
I got a 3-1 win Union. I think I'm
That
with you guys. I think they come out with a sluggish start a little bit. I think Blake will give up 1 goal and then get him right back into Blake mode where he becomes a brick wall between the pipes. I think this team goes off on offense and to retaliate, and that's it. And it's no looking back. They put their foot on the gas pedal, and that's it. They go 100. Nothing's going to stop this team. I think the offense, like you said, you guys talking about earlier in the show, I think the offense gets very creative. I think I think they're inside the box and making hell for Kansas City's goaltending. But look, till next.
I feel like Carranza and the Philadelphia Union are going to have something in common by the end of the night, Saturday night. 3 points.
Woo!
Yep.
I got Carranza
Wow!
with 2 goals and an assist, and that's going to be on a very nice one touch from off of a pass from the midfield to find Ua just burning Graham Zusi.
Nice. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it.
Zusi's a solid center back, but Ua is going to eat him alive.
I agree.
All right, guys. Well, listen, this has been a great podcast of the Attack and Third. Again, guys, check in next week, 9 o'clock. We will be recapping this Kansas City game. And guys, listen, Kansas City might got us in the Super Bowl. You ain't getting this on Saturday. Let's go. Let's go, Union.
All right, guys. Talk to you.
Peace
See ya.
out.